Guys, this is Gundam, and today we're going to be doing a review of the high grade Justice Gundam. So, here we go. Basically, this is the revised type, and the differences are new colors, sheet of decals, and this action-based connector piece. So there we go. So basically, let's jump right into this thing. So for articulation, you have let's take off the backpack for this one. And the shield, I believe. Head can rotate 360. It's on a ball joint and move up and down. Arms can rotate 360. Move in and out. Nice sturdy joints on this kit. Nice and tough. Bends at the elbow at only 1 point, 90 degrees, straight up. Ball joint at the wrist, very nice. You can get some pretty good poses. Oh wait. Yeah, this is two examples of the wrist. One, there's actually two sets of pegs inside the arm. One is kind of towards the outside of the arm, and one is towards the center. So one I put towards the center, one I put outside. Basically, the outside one is longer, so I guess you get more articulation. Like that. Like that. Yeah, so you got that. Torso can rotate 360. And legs can move out about that far. They can move up about that far. And then move back about that far. Really tough. What kind of scares me about these kits are, since they went with the gunmetal gray, it's kind of hard to tell the stress marks because of how they molded it. So there's kind of like random white marks already on there because like the way the plastic kind of molded. Bends at the knee at 1 point, so 90 degrees. The ankle's on a ball joint, moves up and down, goes side to side, and then this ankle thing goes up and down. Ankle armor. Shield is on a peg, rotate 360, that's it. Beam rifle is on this little, one of the handles is on a hinge, stuff like that. This little, I guess, lander fighter thing. These little things just rotate 360, and these on two pegs. And there's a little joint in there that makes them move up and down. So basically, you got that. So that's pretty much it. Basically, these kits were made to celebrate the 10th anniversary of Gundam Seed, which is probably still re-airing the more, I guess, re-enhanced videos or parts. Basically, Bandai did release like promo images of these kits, except with effect parts, which kind of like, yeah, that's freaking awesome, because like Seed kits, they're good, but they're not really that great. Like, it's really simple, and they could have done more, but obviously they didn't. So, got that. And then basically, those effect parts would have been awesome, but didn't come with it. So, confirm the, I guess, suspicions or whatever, rumors. No, these revised kits don't come with anything else besides decals, recolor, action-based connector. Yeah, but those effect parts were really cool. I think if you can find if you can find their images on like Gundam Guide or something, they were really cool. Like the duel had like the shoulder pod, and it would open up, and then there would be like smoke trail missiles and little tiny like missiles at the end. And the Aegis would have like this little beam cannon in his stomach. So then like there would be this huge kind of like Mega Man X, like full armor Mega Man X kind of like beam style thing. And then Buster had like smoke trails coming out of his little two cannons, and then Strike had like smoke trails coming from the sides of his like ale pack, and then Blitz had like that little classic kind of beam effect part coming out of his claw. So definitely really cool. And the Jin was probably the coolest, but The Jin kind of like you take out the torso and there's the effect part and you put it over and it kind of seems like it's exploding, so kind of cool, appropriate I guess. Because those guys would always just explode unless you're watching the MSV version, because they actually did some pretty cool stuff in MSV, but those were modified. So moving on. Next, you got weapons and accessories. You got the shield, pretty much the same as the Freedoms, except probably for the connector point, pivots, and then very easily just slaps onto there. Looks very nice. Next, the beam rifle, but this thing is just it kind of sucks because, yeah, just first of all, it doesn't even fit into the hand. It's too small. For example, just take out that hand cover, put it in, and then put on the hand cover, and it's skadoosh. Don't Gundams look so cool like that? Like seriously, it's flopping everywhere. Like this is worse than bananas hanging from the ceiling or something. But yeah, this is pretty bad. So I prefer like that pose right there. That looks cool, but this thing doesn't even have the articulation to pull that kind of thing off. That's called animation. Alright, that doesn't really happen in real life. But I heard that Bandai, like, in order to make their box art images, they actually use the actual model kits. I don't know if that's a lie or not, because they look pretty different if you ask me. I mean, I can try to get that pose out of him, sort of, kind of. It's like, ooh, and then, oh, but, oh, I already see an issue. Look at, oh, sorry. Look at that. Look, put it up, no you can't, haha. So basically, they screwed you from the beginning. Alright, so then you got this backpack part, which basically what you do is you flip these wings up and then you flip them down. So it's kind of like this, like kind of like laser beak sort of looking thing. And you flip them back again, so it looks like kind of like a jet. And then these two places, these two spots, I guess, that's where the Justice would stand in the anime, but obviously it's too small for him. He looked kind of awkward standing like that. I mean, usually he'd be like, wow, and then just like slashing through other mobile suits flying on this thing. And also he would be, I think there would be some kind of like handle or something, or maybe that was Infinite Justice, but you remember in the last episode of Gundam Seed, and they're blowing up like the plants or something, he like flies on out of there. He's like, yeah. And then also these little gun pivots up and down for some extra action. Yeah. And then what else? Oh yeah, okay. And then also you got the beam sabers. Now these are very nice. I actually like these a lot. The nice long handles, simplistic beams. What I actually like to do a lot is I like to put them in the hand. Yeah, that's actually one of my favorite things to do. And then just like pose it like that. It's pretty cool. Kind of like, because if you kind of extend that out more, kind of just like play around with it a little bit, you can actually get a really decent pose out of just this arm, which is kind of sad. But yeah, like if you had more articulation, you could probably get a more decent pose altogether with the Justice. And with this kit, you need an action base. I don't know how to express that, but you need an action base, because this guy can't you can't pull off like a good pose without it, because the Freedom and the Justice are just two kits that were like aerial throughout the whole series. Like I don't think they ever touched the ground or anything like that, or they probably did touch like the moon or whatever. So yeah, might as well do this here. Let me just flip this back, flip this over. There's also this nice little pivot joint inside the thruster pack, so you can just go ahead and just slide that in. and then peg a little pivot area. Let me just might as well take off the head. Peg that little pivot area, and there's 2 slots onto this thing that I'll peg into the body, and that actually looks pretty cool. So I've got to admit, Bandai, you win. But obviously, with the Real Grey Justice coming out, this one is probably going to be like shot down, and probably, I don't know who would buy it, since if they spent an extra like $10-$20, they get a much like 500% better version of this one. So that's pretty much it for this review. I'm not really sure what to do with them. I might leave them alone, just like the H1. But for now, I'm just thinking joint fixing, because this guy is just bad. Oh, I forgot to add something. Here we go. Beam sabers, and they just fit right into those little slots. That's pretty much it for this view. See you later.